Hey golfers, it is time to go low right here on AM 820, the Big Eight, every Saturday morning. It is the Let's Go Low radio show hosted by Jeff Stanislow and my team at Golfers Unite. That's golfersunite.com. As promised, we have Emily Nowak back, and we are going to talk the U.S. Open. So, Emily, um, big week this week. Today's moving Saturday. Let's just talk a little bit about the Shinnecock Hills, the golf course that's hosting it. It is going to play tough, and we all know that. I mean, it's a fight. Everybody knows the U.S. Open. I mean, just like your opinion, do you think they go like too far? You know what I mean? At Shinnecock, there's only ever been 3 winners that have been under par in the history of them hosting the U.S. Open. But just like, what are you as a golfer in the business, myself, I think they make it too hard. I don't like to see 30 under, but I think these guys are respectable to, if they're single digit, low double digit, wins. I think that's reasonable. That's what they should be doing.
Yeah, I think that like the last time that they played at Shinnecock Hills, it obviously was a nightmare. I think that's when we had Phil tap in his still moving ball because the greens were just so dry. But I think it had more to do with the weather. I think it was really hot that week. It was super windy, the wind coming off the water. I think that just kind of added to it. But I agree with you. I want to see them struggle a little bit out there. I don't want to see them shooting way over par. I just want to see them looking like a normal person out there, not completely struggling the whole time.
I mean, the game is humbling enough, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we kind of look to the pros for those low numbers and to, go out and shoot, 9, 10 under after 4 rounds of golf. That's 2 or 3 under a round is kind of like where we like to see it. Now, we don't like to see the 10 unders a day, where they're coming in 30 under for the tournament. We also look at a golf course and we want it to be hard and difficult. You know what I mean? But we don't feel like they should trick it up and just be menacing to these golfers and try to force them into these, crazy, difficult situations. We're talking with Emily Nowak from Golfers Unite. This is Jeff Stanislow, your host of the Let's Go Low radio show right here on AM 820. Tampa, we appreciate you tuning in. If you get a chance, go to golfersunite.com. Check us out. We have free memberships. You get access to 4 of our premium deals that we got there. Paid membership for $30, you get access to 14 more. Great members benefits from organizations and equipment manufacturers like Tacoma, Pinned Golf. We have Seed Golf. We have Payne Stewart Collection, Seymour Putters, a lot. Check it out, golfersunite.com. Emily, get back to Shinnecock here and, some of the history. So, we're talking about how difficult it is. I mean, they've hosted the U.S. Open several times, but only 3 times has it ever been anybody won it going under par. And so, that's a difficult and a tall ask, for them in regards to that. I think Phil Mickelson did it, Retief Goosen did it, and then was it Brooks went under 2 as well? But let's talk.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about you're educated and skilled and experienced in the professional golf course management at Ferris State. What are these superintendents kind of thinking in the back of their mind?
So I think that the last Shinnecock, I was shocked that they're hosting it again. I know they choose like way in advance, but honestly, watching last time, I was thinking, I don't know that this is ever going to happen again. I think that their fear is doing what they did last time, really affecting the tournament by the conditions. But yeah, I would say that, their biggest fear is making it completely unplayable because there is a fine line where it's tough. Like it's just a tough course, but then you kind of cross that line when the greens are like waxed basketball courts and you can't keep a ball on the, So I think that there's definitely art to making it super difficult, but then there's definitely kind of the downside of making it way too difficult, where I kind of think the course conditions themselves, the layout, will bring all the difficulty necessary. But yeah, last time it was pretty tough, and I know that the superintendent crowd, their staff probably got a pretty big talking to after that one.
Yeah.
I know this year they are talking about every day at 2 o'clock they're going to be watering the greens, and people like Rory McIlroy have spoken out about that, saying it's not fair to water the greens for the afternoon crew, but not them. So there's already some greenskeeping controversies going on.
Yes, I mean it is, it's a brutal conditions. We know it. Mike Hicks, Payne Stewart's former caddy, who's our host of the Caddy's Corner right here on the Let's Go Low show on AM 820 every Saturday morning right here in Tampa. Um, Mike, is a big believer in obviously the weather conditions playing such a major factor in regards to the course. And if it's dry and windy, that's when these guys are going to really struggle, because I love your reference, like a waxed basketball court for the greens, and that's possible this week because the weather conditions look pretty dry. However, the wind looks moderate. They're expecting 5 to 10, 15 mile an hour winds. So the greens will be fast for sure, probably making them a lot smaller because of the dry conditions, but the wind being a factor is to an advantage for the players. This is Jeff Stanislaw, your host of the Let's Go Low show, right here every Saturday morning in Tampa and the greater Tampa Bay market. We appreciate you guys tuning in. It's brought to you by Golfers Unite, golfersunite.com. Let's kind of it's moving day right now. The odds-on favorite going in is definitely Scotty Scheffler. I mean, he's at plus 550. Scotty is looking to complete the Grand Slam. He's got the Masters, the PGA, the Open or the British Open, and he's only got the USA US Open left, and it's going to be his 30th birthday on Sunday as well. So what are you thinking about him getting it done? I think he's playing good golf. He's not playing his crazy breakout year a couple of years ago where he just won everything, but he's playing well enough to win this.
Yeah, I think that he's proven time and time again over the last few years, if he wants something, he'll get it or he'll win it. I think that Rory is definitely going to give him a run for his money. It's kind of been the Rory and Scotty show the last year or so. But I really do like Scotty's odds. I think that he's really good at kind of staying within himself, not really stressing about the conditions, just hitting the shot. So I really do like Scotty's odds of winning. Just had a second baby. Like you said, he's turning 30 on Sunday. I think that would just really wrap up kind of his legacy, getting that Grand Slam, especially this early. We've had people who, like Rory, who kind of you wait and you wait and you wait for that Masters win. Right. I think it would be true Scotty fashion to just knock out the Grand Slam just like that.
Yeah, exactly. Then John Rahm, I think he's at plus 1,300, and so he is in the hunt. Cameron Young just been playing really good golf. He hasn't played in a couple of tournaments lately, but maybe just in preparation for this U.S. Open. But he is striking the ball, really, really well. And you mentioned Rory, and Rory loves Shinnecock. He says it's the best championship course in the country. So he's fired up for it, that's for sure. Fitzpatrick, just last weekend at the RBC, just came out of nowhere, and all of a sudden the guy's in second place,
It's definitely a sleeper. And I know people are talking about Fitzpatrick coming in, Cam Young. I'm seeing a lot of talks about him. So it'll be interesting to see who ends up at the top. I mean, it's golf, so you can go in with predictions, and someone you've never heard of could win the thing.
And then there's Brooks. Brooks pulled out of the RBC because of injury. So we'll have to see how he's doing, but he just doesn't seem to be himself lately. I mean, not even playing that good. I saw him at the Valspar, live in person. And, just you expect to see him atop the leaderboard at these events, and he's just been really silent, so hopefully
Yeah.
this injury is not bothering him.
Yeah, and he's known for coming and back and winning a few US Opens, so it seems to be kind of his tournament to win. Historically, he seems to like the event, so we'll see. I'm excited to see kind of what sleepers come from behind and surprise us on the leaderboard, but I wouldn't be shocked if Scotty wins it at all.
Right. We're talking with Emily Nowak. Emily is part of my team at Golfers Unite. This is Jeff Stanislow, your host of the Let's Go Low show right here on AM 820, the Big Eight in Tampa Bay area. We appreciate you, all you listeners. You guys are probably getting all ready to watch moving day here at the US Open. And so we appreciate you very much. This is brought to you by Golfers Unite, golfersunite.com. Online golf community where we bring our negotiated deals to you for free. You can get access to 4 of our premium deals. And for just $30 for the year, you get access to all 14 of the deals. We have, brands like Seymour Putters in there. We have foundgolfballs.com if you want to get a good deal on some fantastic golf balls. They were kind enough to send us 4 dozen, way more than that, actually, probably like 20 dozen golf balls logoed with Golfers Unite for my recent road trip. We have Payne Stewart collection, Tacoma Golf, and a lot more. So Emily, as we kind of look at just the Open in itself, I mean, I love the fact that, amateur golfers can go qualify and play in this. It's a 156 man field and this week. And it's the golf, it's rooted by what they call the golf's longest day, where 679 players play across the country for 43 spots. So, those qualifiers, my friend Jimmy Stanger, who actually had a great weekend last weekend at the RBC, and was in the lead on Sunday for a little bit and had a little mishap on 18, but he qualified in Texas. And then, we all know Jackson Suber also qualified, and so he was right there on Sunday at the RBC. Both those guys are from Tampa, so our Tampa listeners, let's give those guys a shout out and root for them at the US Open. So just talk to me as a golfer yourself, and someone that loves golf, about the format and how exciting it is to just take on these qualifiers.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of very good golfers who have tried it. It is very difficult. Obviously, I mean, these guys are so good who do qualify. But I think one of everybody's like favorite parts about things like the US Open or the Masters is seeing that A next to players' names. We love seeing amateurs out there and just kind of giving it a go. But yeah, I mean, people who are trying to qualify, I mean, the prep is insane. I don't know how people like work jobs and try to qualify for the US Open. It's almost
Right.
like it has to be your full-time job because, like I said, these guys are good. But I think it's fun that you can just give it a run. Like you can go to your local, you can get built up to eventually playing in the US Open. I think it's very, very cool, unique experience and opportunity, and it just makes the tournament even more fun. Yeah, I just think it makes it way more fun for the fans too, just kind of seeing names on the leaderboard you haven't seen before. And then even on top of that, then you hear the story about how they qualified and their background in golf, and it develops into this whole new kind of headline in itself. It's
Yeah,
very
it's really
fun.
cool. We're talking with Emily Nowak. Emily works with me at Golfers Unite, and Emily also runs her own female golf brand. Emily, why don't you tell us a little bit about Fairway Femme Club?
Yeah, so I started Fairway Femme Club about a year ago, and the goal is to kind of provide an online golf community for women, beginners, kind of people who are getting into the game, make it a little less intimidating for them, and just really make them feel like they're part of a community in that way. So you can find me at the Fairway Femme Club on Instagram, Fairway Femme Club on TikTok, and on all socials, but I have golf instruction, golf news, golf history, pretty much anything under the sun relating to women's golf.
Yeah, fantastic. And I'm blessed to have Emily part of the team. Emily also shares some of uh her training and tips at Golfers Unite. You can check out Golfers Unite on the socials. Just search Golfers Unite in TikTok, Insta, Facebook. You'll find us. And drop us a follow. We would appreciate that very much. Emily, kind of wrapping up our U.S. Open. So I'm going to pick one and you're going to pick one to win. So who's your pick for the U.S. Open?
Oh, I want to go with Tommy Fleetwood. I know I just talked a lot about Scotty, but I really want it for Tommy, and I think that he's got that drive. I think he can do it.
Okay. All right. So I am going to go with the number one ranked player in the world, Scotty Scheffler. And the only reason why is he's just been in the hunt, really consistent this year. I think he's really focused and dialed in. He was there a couple of weeks ago, played it. I think he's very serious about it. His game is spot on. I think it matches, what's going on with this golf course and the demands that is going to be there. Emily Nowak, thanks for joining us here at Golfers Unite Tampa. Thanks for all the love and support for the Let's Go Low show. This is Jeff Stanislaw, your host, signing off, and let's go low.